everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, August 10th, 2025. I have an identical train on every continent. Are you kidding me? That is the single most ridiculous line I have ever heard. Not just a train on every continent. I have an identical train on every continent. Really, Kane? Every single continent? Even Antarctica? What about space? Do you have a space train, Kane? It's official. I hate him. But with love in my heart. I hate him, but I have love in my heart with that hate. That's how I feel about Kane. That's how I feel about the train. I loved the train, but I gotta be honest with you, I was kind of glad to get off of it. And now I guess we're gonna have to get back on it because Kane's gonna be living on it? Wow! How elaborate. Kane lives on a train. Kane lives on the Kane train. All aboard the Kane train. Choo-choo! It's too much. It's too much. I gotta know if this is too much for you guys. I gotta put a poll question at yrchat.com this week. Are you on board the Kane train? Or are you ready to derail it? I've got to see the votes for this week. Are you feeling Kane and all of the Kane? Or are you ready to tie him to the tracks? yrchat.com, that's where you can vote. What's taking the train so long to arrive? Why did he even take a room at the athletic club if he owns it? It's because his American train is being transported to Genoa City as we speak. His American train. All identical. All 7 continental trains. Identical. One on each continent. But it takes time to haul it, you know. It could have been anywhere in America. He's got to get it to Genoa City now, so he had to take a room at the athletic club. Somebody had the penthouse booked. Just because he bought the place and he's an evil genius doesn't mean he's going to kick somebody out of the penthouse suite when they've paid for it. That would be terrible customer service. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. But I should, because of course Y&R is going to need to reuse that set. They had to kill 3 characters, slash 3 salaries to build that set. We can't just get away from it now. We have to use it. We got to get the most bang for our buck. Cole, Damien, and Chance had to die for that train. We need to use it. Oh, but don't you love the romance of living on a train? Don't you just love the romance of it all, says Kane. Well, no, actually I don't. I find this to be another one of Kane's infuriating personality quirks. Right up there with the fact that he never wears socks and his feet are always on the furniture. It is unacceptable. I am ready to see Victor and Jack team up and squash him like a bug. I want to hear it. I want to hear the juicy sound of Kane getting squashed. Because when Nikki suggested Victor and Jack teaming up against Kane this week, I was like, yes, that's the move. Let's please see that. Kane is annoying. lying. He wants to take over all of Genoa City's companies. Even Jabot. Really? I mean, why stop there? Why not take over Crimson Lights too? You know, it's a little thing, but I want to say I appreciate Esther's presence in the background at Crimson Lights, offering Lily and Devon 2 delicious-looking chocolate grief muffins. I need muffins to go with my grief. Yes, please. Esther said, there has been so much death lately. Here are 2 muffins on the house, but don't tell Sharon. She said that. I'm pretty sure that qualifies as employee theft. And when Kane takes over the place, he is not going to stand for it. Esther would be thrown out on her bum. Oh my gosh. Yes, I need Kane to turn Crimson Lights into an evil coffee house. You got to go through a maze to get to the counter to order your coffee. Surveillance cameras everywhere. You never know when a dagger could come flying out. That's what I want Crimson Lights to be from now on. Okay. This week, Victor suggested to Lily that maybe instead of avoiding Kane, Lily should get close to Kane. I mean, he has permanently parked his American train right here in Genoa City. Gotta get close to him to get the goods. Use the fact that he loves you to get close to him. And she's actually considering it. Of course she is, because drama. I'm all for that part, the drama part. Gotta give it that. It's thick with drama. Ridiculous drama, but drama. I mean, hey, if Lily is the only one who can get close to Kane to draw out the juicy truth about his takeover plan, then yeah. But I think what's more likely to happen is that, you know, she's going to start out, it's all going to be a ruse. She's going to be pretending to befriend him. She's going to try to get info on him. And then slowly, she will fall back in love with him again. And she will end up sleeping with him in the same train car that she slept with Damien in. If this train's rockin', don't come knockin'. Well, here's a sentence I'm happy to say. I was proud of Billy this week. He stood up to Kane, and he told Jack about the takeover plans. Sure, Billy almost went along with it, and totally would have if not for his mommy issues, but still, it's something. I think I was just happy because Billy is the only one who dared question the great and powerful former Aristotle Dumas and asked him, why? Why exactly do you want to take over Jabot? I mean, it's just so ridiculous. I could see wanting to take over Newman Enterprises because rivalry with Victor. I can see wanting to take over Chancellor because he has that connection through Jill and maybe to give it back to Lily, whatever. There's some motive there, but Jabot? Why bother with a benign cosmetics company? Why? And why entertain Victor's offer to team up and go after Jack? I mean, Jack has done nothing, absolutely nothing. And I don't know if Kane's going to agree to that or not. That's just Victor's effort to try to get Jack, his real enemy. He's going to try to use Kane to get to Jack. But what's in it for Kane? Jack has done nothing to Kane. Why are we coming after Jack? Why are we coming after Chabot? That's where the whole thing falls apart for me. That's where Cain just starts looking like a one-dimensional villain with his sparkly blue eyes and chest hair. But I need more than that. I need more than sparkly blue eyes and lush chest hair. Only this much more. Only the tiniest sliver of amount more, but I need more. What's Cain's motive? That's why I was just glad to see Billy questioning it this week. But now where Billy failed was, I'm sorry, the moment that Billy said, I want to take over Chancellor for Chance? That was a real insult. I mean, I just couldn't believe those words came out of his mouth. I want to do it for Chance. How insulting. You want to do it for you, and you're using Chance's death as an excuse. That's just gross. And I was glad that Phyllis called him out on it. I mean, he's been wanting to take over Chancellor since Jill booted him out of Chancellor, and now all of a sudden he's doing it for Chance. Fat Chance. Billy and Jill's mother-son issues were on full display this week. That was fun. I do like that. We had the mother-son video call. Apparently, Jill found out that Cain was Aristotle Dumas when she went to visit Colin right before his death. Like on his deathbed, he wanted to see Jill. Love that idea. They made amends, and that's when Jill discovered that Cain was Aristotle Dumas, and she never said a word to anyone about it. That doesn't bother me. I think Jill is allowed to keep this secret. You know, I think she's allowed to be the only one in town who actually knew, mostly because she was comfortably off screen at the time while everyone else was running around like stooges trying to figure out the mystery. But Billy was very offended by this. How could she know and not tell me? Wait a minute, that was Victor's voice. Oops. How could she know and not tell me? She's choosing Cain over me. I mean, I think that's a better motive for Billy, because her sheer knowing doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But the fact that Billy feels like Jill treats Cain better than her own son, well, that's actually true. And that's true to the history of the show, too. Jill always seemed to kind of prefer Cain, even after she found out that Cain wasn't really her long-lost son. There was that rivalry rings true to me. There is something about, like, the way Jill treats Billy that it's dismissive of him, and I think it rings as to, it explains his personality quite a lot. But the fact that then Cain, this con artist, comes along and pretends to be her dead son and she still accepts him, well, I can totally see why Billy would hate Cain over that and not want to partner with him. But in the previews for next week, Jack is telling Diane that the fate of the family and the family company might actually rest in the hands of Billy. Oh my. But can we trust him? Can we really? I feel like I don't fully know where Billy stands. The question is, is Billy he told Jack about Cain's plan to come after Chabot. And Jack suggested, well, then we have to work together. And I'm assuming that the plan is for Billy to go on the inside and pretend to be on the in with Cain and really just get information out of him. But I don't trust Billy either. Will Billy stay loyal to Jack? Billy he was like, I'm done with you, Jack. And then as soon as things fall through with Cain, he's right back to Jack. So I don't know if Billy is capable of staying loyal to Jack, Or, I mean, who knows, this could all be part of Billy's plan to stab Jack in the back. I mean, we just don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if Billy was only maybe pretending to go along with Kane's plan, and just was really, I don't know, or that he was actually going along with Kane's plan. I just don't know where he falls. I mean, if Billy decided to go along with Kane's plan, despite his resentment toward Kane, despite his objections to, Kane's takeover of Jabot, and despite the fact that even if Kane is successful and takes over Chancellor Industries, at best, all Billy would be is just a CEO at somebody else's company. It's like, I could see him doing it and not doing it. I don't know where he falls. I mean, for crying out loud, Billy has a media company of his own that has his name on the door. And he's running it with his sexy, cool girlfriend. It just must be so hard being so restless. Because he really has no reason to be getting involved in all of this mess. But I was happy to see Adam making some progress on Chelsea this week, because Chelsea is the one who put up the wall that's keeping the Newmans from really fully going after Billy, that's keeping Newman Media from fully going after Abbott Communications. I mean, we've got these two companies there and these two, factions, and they're poised to do battle. And for some reason, Chelsea's the thing that's she's the dam that's keeping the water from all falling out. But it seemed like she's softening just a little bit. Adam said to her, well, why are you siding with Billy? Why don't you side with your family? Side with the family. And Chelsea said, family? With her eyes, she said that. But with her mouth, she said, okay, well, let me just talk to Billy. Let me just find out if he's planning some kind of attack on us. Come on, of course he's planning some kind of attack on you. Revenge plots are practically dripping out of Billy's pores. He's practically sweating them. Oh my goodness. I did laugh out loud when Chelsea compared the situation with Billy to a situation that happened at Connor's school when Connor had a rumor started about him. Oh, Chelsea, that was just so good. Chelsea is bringing the schoolroom to the boardroom, and I have to appreciate it. She is momming and managing at the same time. Phyllis is so totally on board the Kane train that she might as well be riding him. And I have a feeling she's probably going to be. Did you hear Kane say to Phyllis that he was impressed with her assets? There is something going on beneath the surface there. And Phyllis is willing to hack Newman, willing to hack Chancellor, willing to hack Jack for Kane. Just for a chance to be his second banana. You guys would be so proud of me for this. Because for the first time ever, I actually spotted hair extensions this week. I am a notoriously bad hair extension spotter. I don't know why. I think I'm naive in a way. I just assume it's all real. I don't know why that is a blind spot of mine. But this week, Phyllis had her shoulder length hair on the underside and then really long shiny hair on the upside. And it was just so obviously two different lengths that I couldn't keep my eyes off of it, and it was all I could think about. It really ruined the illusion for me. I don't know, maybe it wasn't as obvious to everyone else. And to be fair, Phyllis tipped me off about her hair extensions months ago. That time when she pulled them out at the bar after a long night. Go, Claire! Wow! This is a real turning point for her character, and I'm loving it. Wow. I mean, gone are the days of begging for Grandpa's approval, right? Claire is in full-on rebel mode. And it's really great to see, especially because she tried to make it all work. She really tried talking to Victor, convincing Victor, tried having Nikki talk to Victor. She tried setting up that dinner so that Victor and Kyle could get to know each other. She's tried all the right ways to resolve this. But when that didn't work, and Victor just stood there on the day of her father's funeral and gave his veiled speech about how he finally had accepted Cole into the family, but Kyle will never be accepted, is essentially what he said. And she stood there like, really? She actually called him out. She stood there in her lacy black baby doll dress, and she called him out. Victor should not underestimate her, and he is. He thinks that this is all just no big deal. He thinks he's going to turn around and smooth this whole thing over, but I wouldn't count Claire out. I think Claire is serious. She is tired of tap dancing around Victor's wishes. She's a full-fledged member of the family now, and she has everybody else's support but Victor's. And she's just not going to take it anymore. Oh my goodness, she went to go visit Uncle Adam this week and tried to buy his condo because she wanted to start living in sin with Kyle immediately. And I love that Adam said, I sense there's more to this. It's not just that you want a place to live. I sense that you want to stick it to Pops. And I can't be involved in that. Yeah, I mean, Adam was not about to cross Victor when his services are needed for the coming war with Jack and Kane. Adam's war services will be needed, so he cannot go taking the underdog side right now. But, I mean, Claire is not giving up. She has lost her father, and she is not about to lose the man that she loves, too. But then there's Audra. Audra made sure to mention to Kyle, in front of Claire, that he left his phone charger in her room, which caused him to have to explain what he was doing there, and explain also to Claire that Audra and Victor had a plot, and that basically Victor paid Audra to break them up by seducing him. And to Audra's credit, she's still arguing that it worked. That whole plan went bust, blew up in her face, and she still stood there at the ranch, right in front of Victor, in her white dress, looking like the prettiest paper towel roll in all of Genoa City. And she told him, I planted the seed, and I saw on Claire's face that my plan is working, and it's only just begun. But Victor didn't buy it. He told her, it's over. You've lost. Vibranti is dead. Which, by the way, sent Audra into a tirade on Jack of all people. I mean, Nikki and Jack were at Crimson having coffee, and Audra walked in, and they started talking about her loudly, too loudly. And then Audra comes over to defend herself, and Nikki definitely let her have it. But what really stood out to me was after Nikki left, Audra let loose on Jack, saying, I make you uncomfortable because I'm just doing the things that you would do if you hadn't had your entire empire handed to you. Burn! And I'm with Audra all the way. I mean, she is down, but she is not out, and she is still fighting. She is still trying to bust up Kyle and Claire's relationship. Pro bono! She tried doing it pro bono, but that didn't work, so she went pro bono instead. And it might just work. Kyle and Claire ran into Audra and Sally at Society at the tail end of Friday's show, and Audra made sure to lay it on thick about how much Kyle enjoyed being with her in Nice. And Claire was ready to throw down. I was like, who is this, Claire? I mean, this is exciting. This is much more exciting. Kyle was practically holding her back, and Sally was practically holding Audra back too. I mean, it was a great little rivalry, unexpected rivalry moment. I don't know what those two are gonna do next. Claire seems hell-bent on proving something to Victor. And Audra seems hell-bent on proving something to Kyle. Oh my goodness, it's got to blow up sooner or later. I thought it was interesting that Sally offered Audra a job at Abbott Communications, but then Audra said no. I mean, she kind of knows that Vibrante is over. I don't know if she has a plan to get it going again or if she's just going to find something else. I don't know what this means for Audra, because Audra only has one thing left to lose, and that's Nate. And I think we all know that's coming. And once that's done, I don't know. I just hope Y&R doesn't end up adding a fourth funeral to the list and put Audra's head on the chopping block too. Being brave is not the same as being reckless. I wonder if you can guess who said that. It's kind of hard, but it's also kind of true. Being brave is not the same as being reckless. If you want to find out who said that, you can go to yrchat.com and have that answer revealed. Let's look at some of your comments for the week. I love this one from Russell, who says, I'm surprised Audra didn't go with Nate to Damien's service in Chicago. Seems like she'd want to support him and Amy. I'm also surprised that she didn't offer Victor a kiss to distract him from her failure to seduce Kyle. Russell, yes. Victor, he's unseducible now. Like, he's so locked into his forever relationship with Nikki. The fans would have hit the roof, but that would have been the move, right? Why didn't Audra try to seduce Victor? Oh man, there would have been an uproar over that. But those would have been the good old days. She'd have done it in the good old days. Daisy says, I thought the scene with Audra talking to Kyle and Claire was great. Kyle could say nothing to stop her, and Claire didn't know what to say. She's heard a lot though. And if they do break up, then technically Audra made it happen. Maybe then Victor will go back to funding Vibrante. Although he may want to make it a part of the Newmans, but at least she'd have a start with it. Oh, you think maybe Vibrante is not dead? It's possible. It's certainly possible. I thought it was interesting how much Kyle was trying to talk Claire down from the ledge. I mean, she was just ready to let all hell break loose, not just with Audra, but with Victor too. Kyle was really I don't know if I want to say defending Victor, but he was definitely trying to keep the peace with Claire. And every time she was flying off the handle about how outraged she was, Kyle was there with a counter argument trying to pull things down. So, I mean, I don't know how far it's going to go, but it's certainly interesting to watch. T. Nicole says, what I don't understand is why Kyle needed to go so far with Audra if he was suspecting what she was up to with Victor. All he actually needed to do was shut her out and not give her any time of day. Why the need to prove how far she was actually willing to go? Ooh, T. Nicole, you're right. But Sue W. answers your question by saying it's because he thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. And not just the deception part. Kyle was kind of having his cake and eating it too. He definitely took advantage of what he saw as, perks. I mean, you're both so right. T. Nicole, he did not have to take it as far as he did. He did not need to prove how far Audra was willing to go. And Sue W., you're right. Sue W., you're right, because he did it because he enjoyed it too. It's what he wanted too. Sherrod says Audra doesn't know the real Claire. You know, the one that poisoned her entire family. Audra had better step carefully because Claire will go for the kill. Yeah, Sherrod, you're right. I mean, we have not seen Claire getting in touch with that killer instinct for a while. She's been on the good girl side for a while, but you're right. Audra really doesn't know who she's dealing with, and that's another reason why I'm like, oh boy, I hope Y&R's not going to put a nail in Audra's coffin. Oof. Oh, Brent says, this week, for the first time since she was with Aunt Jordan out west, I see the old crazy Claire. She makes me believe that she may try to harm Victor. If not physically, which I'm not ruling out, she'll now conspire with Kane by way of Holden to bring Newman Enterprises down. Oh, Brent, I hadn't thought of that. I could definitely see Claire partnering up with Kane to give Victor a taste of his own medicine. Dang, that's good. Stephen says, as the family watches Claire stand up to her grandfather, Adam should silently resolve to grow a pair. Nick was right when he told Adam, you're going to have to pick a side slick. I loved that moment from Nick. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Stephen, because it is true. Adam's been balancing that line, kind of trying to keep Chelsea happy, trying to keep Victor happy, and he is sooner or later going to have to pick a side. And, I mean, he definitely picked Victor's side when it came to Claire and the apartment request, but I don't think that was a real challenge for him. The real challenge is if Chelsea continues to throw up the wall against going after Billy, then he's going to have to choose. That's when he really is going to be in a bad position. But you're right. You're right. Oh, speaking of Nick, though, I asked you guys last week if you're on board with a Nick and Sharon reunion. I'm pretty surprised 79% say yes. The Y&R chatters want Nick and Sharon. Marianne V says, I voted yes. I think it's time for Nick and Sharon to get back together. They're both free, they have a lot of history, but it's been a while since they tried to be together again. Maybe it'll work this time. You know, it'll be interesting to watch them try because they're not, you know, the spring chickens that they were in previous iterations, previous marriages, and it's certainly been a decade since they, since that last time they almost got married. Surely that's been a decade or more. So we'll see where they are now, and if they can pull it off and make it work this time. Connie says, I voted no to Nick and Sharon because I prefer Sharon on her own and not the damsel in distress that happens when Nick is around. Their teenage love story could come full circle and I wouldn't hate it. However, unconditional love of family and successful co-parenting works for them. Yeah, I know. They just never really were able to pull it off long term, right? There's always something that comes between them. And you make a great point that it usually is somehow based around Sharon being the damsel and Nick needing to save her. I think Y&R's trying not to do that this time, though. I mean, we saw Nick, we saw Sharon picking the lock, getting them out of the wine cellar in Nice. I think they're trying to make Sharon seem less dependent in order to make this romance work. We'll see if it does. Ryan says it's time to reunite Nick and Sharon. Bring on Faith, Noah, and Christian as adults and let them be the next generations of Newmans like they did with Nick, Adam, Victoria, and Abby all those years ago. Nick and Sharon should absolutely take over the ranch and be the new matriarch and patriarch eventually, while their 20-something and 30-something children are in the front burner storylines. Why isn't the show pushing this ahead? It seems like the only younger characters we have are Kyle and Claire. Surely we could have more, but what about Victoria's children? Reed, Katie, Johnny. It just feels like the show doesn't want to branch out and add more characters and storylines to the canvas. We're stuck with the Kane drama. I'll tell you who they need to bring on is Johnny. Johnny was darn right entertaining. I would love to see that. And I look forward to the day, too, that they age up Connor. Connor has so many issues. Chelsea had to tell his teacher that he's got to be in the back row desk, the fourth from the back, or whatever the complex thing was. He's got to count to 10 before this and that. But I mean, the real question is, how does he look with his shirt off? We got to make him 20, and we got to get his shirt off and find out how it all shakes out. Is Connor going to be, a very nervous adult, or are they going to hunk him up? Blah, blah, blah on the counting to 10. And I want to see more aging up Connor and getting his shirt off. Oh, that's naughty, Allie. Bad Allie. But it's true. Connor versus Christian is the next rivalry of the future. I love your idea of Reed, Katie, and Johnny. I just think Y&R has tried unsuccessfully just to age up any of the characters. But I mean, they don't have to be teens. I mean, there really isn't anyone in their 20s on the show. I would say Claire's probably the youngest character on the show, and she's probably in her late 20s. I don't know. I'm sure they've done the demographic searching. I mean, and I like my core characters. I like that we have the opportunity to see older characters. A lot of the shows that are on TV are very youth-oriented. So I do like being able to see people that are, around my age and older. But you're right, there's a gap. Well, hey, speaking of the Kane drama, Kamna says, I am fully on board the choo-choo train with Team Kane. All we need is Audra to join the ragtag team. Lots of reasons for this, but the primary one is that I really want to see self-righteous Lily and Nikki put in their place. Their arrogance has been grating on me for months now. Yes, Kamna, choo-choo to you. And a choo-choo to you. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I love you and I love your comment because I do want to hear from people who are loving Team Kane. And this is a good opportunity to get those comments this week from the poll at yrchat.com. Are you loving the Kane? I want to hear from more people who are loving Kane because he grates on my nerves as much as Lily and Nikki are grating on yours. But Kamna, I love your point too that it would make total sense for Audra to join Team Kane. She's the one they got to get in there, but I don't know if Phyllis would let that happen. I can't remember if Phyllis and Audra get along or not. I can't keep track of it all. Do Phyllis and Audra get along? Cannot remember, but she would make a perfect addition to their little team. Oh, speaking of Nikki, Naomi mentions Nikki was crabbing at Victor and he's looking at his phone the whole time. I hope she would have said, put down that phone and look at me. And I think she said something like, do you ever listen to a word I say? She was crabbing at him. You know, the interesting thing, too, that I think we're going to see follow up on next week, or we should, is that, did you notice that Kane kind of accidentally busted Nikki out at the end of Friday's show? He told Victor about how Nikki was almost ready to sign Chancellor over to him. Well, Victor didn't know that. And Nikki intimated to Jack that she wasn't planning on telling him. So Kane kind of accidentally blew up her spot, and we'll see how she reacts to that next week, hopefully. Dolores says, here we go again. Lily is considering to become again Victor's useful idiot. Why, oh why consider being a pawn in his desire to crush your ex, Kane, knowing as well as telling Victor that he deceived and lied to her in the past of his primary motives? It's so sad. And Kane deserves better than a return to a life with her. I don't like the woman I see now. He tried to make it plain and clear that he has no desire to hurt her or the Winters businesses as well, and she's still the love of his life. But no way she can believe him, for he failed to tell her of his past, Aristotle Dumas, so nothing or no how can he be trusted. Lily used to be a savvy, smart, and especially intuitive woman. I don't recognize this person lately. Wow, yeah, I mean, Lily, she's kind of one note, isn't she? There's just not a whole lot there. She's just angry. Angry lady now. That's what she is most of the time. And Devon is like non-existent, and Abby is double non-existent. Where are the Winters? We've cut Damien. He was supposed to be working at their company with Nate. Nate had his office picked out, for crying out loud. And it just seems like, well, now we've gotten rid of Damien. Devon and Lily really aren't, they're not on the chopping block. If Winters is the only freaking company in this town that Kane's not coming for, then, you know, there's just not much for them to do. Yeah, I don't know. Steven says, Victor doesn't learn, does he? In Nice, hiring a young lady with questionable morals has blown up his relationship with his granddaughter. And now back in Genoa City, he thinks he's found another lady equally of questionable morals to do his bidding. Yeah, I mean, I saw it as Victor just more planting the seed, like, hey, you know. And I was surprised that Lily picked up on it as fast as she did. How about this opinion from Dolores, who says, I know I will cause an uproar by posting these thoughts, but here goes. I think Victor Newman is a fraud, a double-dealing con man, a bully. It's how he built his business empire of now. His schemes allowed him to mask the Newman enterprises that set him far and above many in Genoa City. And now he would not admit to it, but to me, it's obvious. There's a level of fear with the arrival of a past rival, Aristotle Dumas, who's now more of a current one that turned out to be Kane Ashby. Kane is a mirror of him in gaining his business empire and wealth as a self-made man with great business savvy, fearless and going on about accomplishing his goals, and most of all, he's in town in Genoa City with no reservations to take him on. I'm excited to see how it's all gonna happen and who and how it will end. To the better man goes the spoils. You know, Dolores, that is incredibly insightful. Victor, deep down, is probably afraid of Kane. It took Victor his whole life to amass his empire, and Kane managed to do it in 6 years. That has to be intimidating. And not to mention just, you know, thinking maybe, oh, Kane's edgier. Maybe he's got, you know, maybe he understands the modern world a little more. I mean, that's a really great psychological insight to where Victor may be coming from. Maybe he's just straight up afraid of Kane. Good one. Oh my goodness. Gary says, when Billy informed Jack that he was cutting all ties with him business-wise, sob, Jack should have taken the ball and run with it. Maybe he did. Hooray, that's one less noose around Jack's neck. Billy, please don't change your mind and come crawling back with some new spiritual revelation. You know what, Gary? That's a great point, because Billy was all, I don't need you, last week. I've got Kane. And then the second the things with Kane blow up, he's right back to Jack on Team Jack. And Jack's right there. Of course, Jack thinks that he's going to be saving Jabot by teaming up with Billy, but Jack is still an enabler nonetheless. Once an enabler, always an enabler, it seems, when it comes to him. Hey, Naomi says, shouldn't Phyllis be worried about Summer's job security at Marchetti if Jabot is taken over? Naomi, that makes too much sense. You need to stop it. You simply must stop making sense. It's just too right. I mean, yeah. Of all the people Phyllis would not want to screw over, you would think it would be Summer. Summer works at Marchetti. Jabot is aligned with Marchetti. Oh my goodness gracious. Where is Summer, by the way? I mean, she went off to Italy and just, you know, it's like, oh, she met a boy. She went off to Italy and met a boy. Harrison's with her now. They've got to be resolving that soon. You would think. Hey, Diana says, we have not seen a follow-up since Sally told Billy that she loves him back in Nice. Allie pointed out that this was a big moment and they had never said those words to one another, and nothing has been said since. I'm surprised that Sally never said anything to Audra about how foolish she must feel as they both confide in one another. It seems that Y&R is not making this a big deal when it should be. Telling someone I love you for the first time is a big deal, especially on a soap opera. You know what, Diana? That completely fell off my radar. And you know why? I think it's because Billy and Sally are just doomed, right? I mean, there's no way. There's no way that they're going to last. I mean, I'm just assuming that they're together because Y&R doesn't have anyone else to pair either of them with, so they're just together. But you're right. I think the last time we saw anything romantic between them was that night. She said, I love you, and he wrote her out a contract on a cocktail napkin, and then it was just left dangling after that. They're doomed. Gary says, Glamour Girl Esther gives away free food to the richest people in town. Isn't that always the way? Yeah, Gary, really? Come on. Devon doesn't need a free muffin. He's a billionaire. It was just simply an inconvenience for him to take his wallet out of his pocket. Oh, Esther's just trying to be nice. She didn't want to take cash from him. He should just have an account. Oh my goodness. Connie says, finally, we get to see Jill. And it's an argument about business instead of a sympathy call. I think underplaying the death of Cole with an off-screen memorial, Nate off in Chicago planning Damien's funeral, and no mention of Kane's family making arrangement. I think you mean Chance's family making arrangements. It's exasperating. These characters matter and deserve respect in acknowledging their passing. I'm not happy that the corporate espionage is overtaking the narrative, and how much longer must we wait for an appropriate and dignified goodbye? Oh, what do you guys think about Cole's off-screen service? I mean, I guess that didn't bother me as much. You know, when they come back and they're like, oh, your speech was so beautiful, Claire. I mean, it was a little cheesy, but I mean, if the alternative was just green screen everybody standing around for Cole, I mean, I don't know. I guess that it was a little blah. It didn't make me outraged, but it was a little blah. I feel slightly more outraged that Chance was just killed off with nothing. I mean, Damien had been on the show less than a year. But he was pretty front burner. I mean, I feel like he should have got more. But the fact that Chance was the last chancellor and he just died, and it was in the moment very there and very present, but it's been mentioned like 3 times since then. And that's all. And we didn't even get Abby's reaction. Yeah, and I just feel like we're not going to get Nina's either. I feel like it's just done. Gary says, in honor of Chance Chancellor, if Y&R isn't going to do it, who sang When Will You Find Love at his TV wedding? little bit of trivia there. Who sang When Will You Find Love at Chance's wedding? I'm assuming that would have been Abby's wedding. Would it have been his wedding to Abby? Well, Michelle says, I'll take a guess. I can't picture the wedding in the Chance match, but was it Tracy Abbott? Ding, ding, ding. Gary says, yes, Tracy sang a song at Chance's wedding. Oh, man, maybe Tracy should come back to sing at Chance's funeral. Chance's death is just like this complete side note. It's barely mentioned. Like, the least we could do is get a song out of it. Oh my goodness. Speaking of songs, you know what's going to have an original song? The Fauna and the Flora. My book and audiobook is coming along, and this week I've actually been working on the song that goes with it. It's going to be really, really good. You guys are going to love it so much. I'm still editing the audiobook. The book is finished. I'm editing the actual audio. I read the audiobook out loud. And so I'm doing the editing on that, and I'm working with a musician on the original song. It's going to be so beautiful. Last week I sent out the cast list to my email list. If you're not on my email list, you should go to, well, you can go to yrchat.com/storylines, and I'll set it up so that you'll automatically get that cast list if you want to see which characters are going to be featured on book 1 of The Fauna and the Flora. So yrchat.com/storylines to sign up for the email list, and then that will be sent to you. The cast list will be sent to you along with the call-in and text-in number if you'd like to send some comments or some thoughts by text or leave a voicemail. I miss getting my voicemails from everybody. I do get some. I get to hear Gary's voice a lot, and I love that. But I do love hearing your voices. Something about that's very special. So that number is there. Once you sign up for the email list, it'll be sent directly to you. And other than that, oh my goodness, it's been busy here. It's been very busy. I'm off to the nursing home. That's where I'm headed now to visit Dad. He's going to be there a little while longer. We got a long road ahead, but I'm going to go there and give him some sunshine, spread some sunshine to him, hopefully cheer him up, and hoping he'll be able to get back into his home within the next few weeks. We'll see. Oh boy, life just keeps chugging along. I've got a train on every continent. No, an identical train. Ugh. All right, everybody. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. I hope you have a beautiful one. Love ya. Bye.